big giant claws right there. What's up all you cool snakes and neonates, how's it going? I hope you are all keeping well. So today we are going to talk about one of the animals that doesn't get a lot of love, well, does get a lot of love, but doesn't get a lot of screen time. And that is the wonderful and squirmy Shelly, the yellow belly slider turtle. That's right, our Shelly. She's an awesome wee character. Absolutely amazing. Perfect example of how reptiles can have a personality. If we're up too late, because we sleep in the living room and her pond is in the living room, if we're up too late, she makes loads of noise and tells us to go to bed. She does the same in the morning to tell us to wake up. Where are you going? You going for selfies? And she tells us to wake up and feed her. She's a fantastic, grumpy old lady. So when we took her in, we were told she was about 5 years old. Now you can do a measurement on the shell and get a rough guesstimate of how old they are. And judging by the shell, she's actually closer to about 50 years old. She's an old girl. She's a wonderful girl. She's massive. She's a very large yellow belly slider. Everyone that comes in that's seen other yellow bellies says that she's about the largest yellow belly they've ever seen. She's a big girl, isn't she? You're a big old girl. She's wonderful. She doesn't bite. We use her in our zoo to use so kids can get a chance to pet her and all that kind of stuff. She's a really good animal ambassador. But she doesn't get a lot of screen time, guys. Now, a fun or not so fun fact about the yellow belly slider turtle is that they're actually illegal to sell or rehome here in the UK. The laws between Scotland and England are slightly different. I think they're a bit more lenient in Scotland. But as of about 2016, they were made illegal to sell or rehome through EU laws because of invasive species in Europe. Not really in the UK, but in Europe. Some people were exaggerating in the UK, saying that they'd found them in ponds and things like that, but I've never seen one, and it definitely isn't a common problem, that's for sure. But yeah, so these guys are illegal to sell or rehome at the moment. Now, of course, we are leaving the EU with all that Brexit rubbish, so eventually the laws might change here in the UK, and you'll be able to buy and sell these guys. But it'll take quite a while for that to go through and for that to happen. So, as the time beings, those that have these guys are allowed to keep them. They're just not allowed to sell or rehome them. So the ones that we have in captivity may, if the laws never change, may be the last we ever get to see. So when our old Shelly here passes away, which she's not going to, she's perfectly healthy, but when she passes away, we won't be able to get another yellow belly slider. So she's a very special animal. She's very special and dear to us as well. So we have plans to give her a bigger enclosure. We're trying to get a hold of an IBC to convert it into a big pond, but right now she's just got that pond, that little pond in the living room. It's not fantastic, it does what it needs to do. I'd rather she had a bigger area that she could properly have a good swim around in. But Alita, you guys remember last year we built that cage for Alita, our tegu. Well, she's a bit fussy with it. She's fine for like an hour or two, and then she starts to get a bit bored of it and starts trying to get out. So we put her out, and then we put the bearded dragon in. This year, the sun came out, and I thought, these guys are a bit more hardy with temperatures, with cooler temperatures than the tegu and the bearded dragon and stuff like that. So I thought, why don't we try and put Shelly here in the cage? And we put her in the cage, and she absolutely loved it. She just sat and basked all day. It was great for her. However, there was concrete on the floor, so it wasn't good for the under part of her shell, because of course the concrete would sort of damage it and wear away at it, and I wasn't happy with that. So I thought, what about AstroTurf? It's going to look pleasant and it's going to be functional. So I put an ad up on Facebook to see if anyone had any offcuts, and thankfully someone did. So we've got some offcuts of AstroTurf to go and stick into this cage. So let's go and do that now. And so here is a rough outlay of what we're going to have. That's going to be the little pond thing right there. We're going to build that up, concrete it all into a bowl, and then they'll have a little drinking hole or a soaking pond if they need to. I still need to put the branch back in. They've got their basking spot there. Those bricks underneath the slates are heat retaining stones from inside a radiator, so they hold the heat. The slates attract the heat, so that's their little sort of basking spot there. But yeah, that's going to be a lot nicer on Shelley's tummy. It's not so important for the lizards, but for Shelley it's definitely more important to have a softer substrate or softer bedding on that little shell. So she's been in here a few times now. She is absolutely loving it. Just sitting there basking, chilling out. We haven't got the pond put in yet, but I do drip some water in there, so she does have access to a drink if she needs it, but she'll spend all day basking inside and never go in her water. So she only comes out here for a few hours, get some natural sunlight in her, some of that goodness, UV rays. But yeah, she just sits and chills out, loves it. Don't you, sweeties? So these guys are actually largely terrestrial. Even though they're a turtle, you can see that they have, if she's going to let you have a look, they have massive claws on their feet. Big giant claws right there. And that is for scurrying around. They are very apt, very adapted to scurrying around on the ground. As you can see, she can actually run pretty fast. Can't you, my sweetie? So this outdoor enclosure is definitely a good thing for her, and she feels right at home in it. So there we go, the cage has been done. There's AstroTurf in it and Shelley is absolutely loving it. Of course the other lizards are still going to get their time in it. We still have to finish it and put a little sort of bowl or pond in it so that Shelley can go and chill out when she wants to go and chill out, or the lizards can go and chill and get a drink and things like that. So we still need to get some concrete and make a little pond in there, but for the time being, with a drip of water, the animals only go in for a few hours at a time anyway, so they're never in there all day, and they're not in there for days on end. It's literally a couple of hours when it's a nice day like this, so that they can get some natural UV light and some natural goodness in them. Oh, you're a runner, aren't you? That's another step further in the outdoor enclosure, another step of progress. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, like and comment on the video. You can subscribe through my ugly mug right there. There'll be another video for you right here, and there'll be a random video for you right there. Like Shelley, we're out of here. Peace.